Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Courtside with Beilinson Tennis, part of the Tennis Channel Podcast Network. Tonight, we have with us 2011 French Open Junior Champion, where, by the way, he beat Dominic Thiem in a great final. He's previously been in the top 100, and now with injuries hopefully behind him, he's looking back to getting within the top 100 again. It's been great catching up with him just after his appearance at the Delray Beach Open. Please welcome to the pod tennis professional and food connoisseur Bjorn Fratangelo. Bjorn, I'm seeing you outside in Florida. I'm in Chicago. I'm jealous. How's everything going, man?
Yeah, everything's good. Not too bad. It's a nice sunny day out here. The weather's been great. Can't ask for more. This is why people come down here, in the winter months. But yeah, no complaints at all.
Well, I was wishing to see you in person in Delray. Obviously, it didn't happen this year with COVID and everything. I covered it with a virtual credential. You've played Delray Beach now quite a few times. Must have actually felt good to play a meaningful match in an ATP tournament, huh?
Yeah, it's been a long time. Really since U.S. Open 2019 was my last ATP match. So I've played 5 events since US Open 2019. So it's really been, with my injury and everything, it's been a little bit of a struggle. But yeah, it was nice to get back. It was nice to win a match, and it was nice to be on center court with some fans,
For sure.
watching and had some atmosphere and some energy. So I was really pumped about that, and to see kind of where my level was. Because just with the lack of matches, you don't quite know. You feel like you practice well, but you never really know until you step on the match court. So I think it was good to get a couple under my belt, including one in doubles too. So I was pretty pleased.
Yeah, and the level was quite high. I mean, the match you easily won your first round match. Then you played Francis, and that level was pretty high, if you ask me from a fan perspective.
Yeah, I thought it was good. I mean, I definitely, was up to that break in the first, and then kind of had, a couple sloppy games. The second set I played well, and the third set he really upped the level. And I mean, I had chances to break and everything, but I struggled to really, stay with him in that third set. And I think that just comes from more matches for me. I'm finding myself having these, kind of peaks and dips in matches, and I think hopefully that flatlines out with the more matches that I play.
Yeah, for sure. If you don't mind, just kind of give a little background on how you got started playing the sport. I know your dad was your coach, and for those that don't know, it's true. He actually named you after Bjorn Borg. Is that true?
Yeah, it was his idol growing up, and then there's a little backstory to it, but I won't bore you with that. But yeah, I was named after him, and my dad was my coach till I turned pro. So he got me into the sport. It was really kind of forced upon me when I was little. I played other things, but tennis was the sport that probably was going to be taken the most seriously, I would say, with no real goals in mind or anything. But then eventually, it's like the sport that you become the best at, or the sport that you become good at. So you always want to play what you're good at. And for me, that was tennis. And then it just kind of stuck with it. And we all have that hobby that goes way too far. Here I am.
Right. Now, when you were going through your junior career, I mean, was something where the aspiration was, hey, I want to be a professional tennis player, or let's focus on maybe going to college first, and then obviously with your success in juniors, we in the intro, I mean, I think you beat Dominic Thiem 8-6 or
Yeah.
something, final set, French Open junior title in 2011. Did that kind of change your course?
Yeah, it did. I was always good, like I finished number one in most age groups in juniors, under 12s, 14s, 16s, 18s, had a lot of gold balls, a lot of junior success. As far as the ITF tournaments go, I never really traveled all that far. I played one in Costa Rica that I made the finals of. I lost to Hugo Deli in there. I remember, I think that was like 2010. I won Easter Bowl, made the finals of Carson, losing to Marcos Giron, who's a good buddy of mine who's doing so well now. And so I was a good player, but for me, the decision was always going to be going to school, and that kind of where it was. I did the whole college recruiting process, but for some reason, that Europe trip, I don't really know. I kind of caught fire, and, not ran through, but, went through the French, and, the match with Dominic could have really went either way, in my opinion. We held serve all the way till 6-all, and that's kind of how that went. But it was definitely a stepping stone, and uh, all of a sudden, like, I would say, a turning of the corner for me. It was kind of when everything started to get real, and agents started talking to me, and I think it was more so, it was like, because nobody really knew who I was. And then 2 weeks later, I went home, and I made the finals of the Pittsburgh Future straight away, and then, ended up, I think my ranking went from really no points to maybe 600 within a couple weeks in the summer.
Right.
So then it was all of a sudden I had a touch of future success, which when you're 17, I think I just turned 18, it's not so bad. And yeah, it kind of changed my mindset to, okay, maybe I can really do this, and I don't need college as the stepping stone. And my parents were also pretty big on, if I was going to go to school, that I was going to go to school for school, for my education. So then it really was, the decision was mine, but know that if you go to school, yeah, you're going to play tennis, it's going to be fine, but you're also going to get a degree that's worth having. So that was kind of where I really had to make a decision of, I was strong academically in high school and, through my schooling years. And then, but do I want to do that and take that seriously, or do I want to continue this and just play tennis? And then, eventually I made this decision.
I'm just curious, what schools were you looking at
I
if you
was
were to go to that college?
I told I told Ty Tucker that I was going to go to Ohio State. So I basically had that out. I looked at Georgia, I looked at UVA, but basically had it narrowed down between Ohio State and Georgia, with myself leaning towards Ohio State.
Yeah, and by the way, shout out Ty Tucker. I had him on this podcast. It was a really fun conversation. So for the listeners,
I'm
check
sure
out
it was. Yeah.
He's a unique individual. He's great.
Yeah, that's for sure. I get along great with him. I still talk to him here and there. Had I gone in when it would have been my year, the team would have been incredible with myself, Buchanan, Rolla,
Yeah.
Connor Smith, Peter Cobell. That would have
Yeah,
been a
that
pretty
team was
good
loaded.
team.
That team was loaded.
Yeah.
So look, I know you've dealt with some injuries. The plantar fasciitis was really bad. Hopefully that's behind you now, with the best still yet to come. As your journey on this on your professional career, what have been a few things that one you've been extremely proud of, and maybe one or two things that have been a little frustrating and disappointing to you as you continue on this journey?
I think I'm proud of just, what I've accomplished in the sport. I think as tennis players, and with our sport is, and how the money is, and kind of where the fame is and the rankings in the sport, it's really easy to lose sight of the fact that you're not doing well, or, if you're 100 in the world, it's like, it's not so great. When the reality of it is, there's not a lot of people like myself, and there's not a lot of people, like others that are in my shoes, and have had, the same success as me, or maybe a little bit more, or even maybe a little bit less. Um, Unfortunately, it's kind of just the way tennis is made, that it's kind of like that. But look, I've played on some of the biggest stadiums in the world. I've won matches in Grand Slams. I've competed in all the Grand Slams, all the big tournaments. I've played, the number one in the world, 2 times. There's one
You took
match.
Novak 3 sets in Indian Wells.
Yeah, yeah, 4 years ago, then played him again in 2019 there. With another good match. I've done, a fair bit, won some challengers, played so many of the top guys, and, I've seen a lot of places around the world, and, that's not, something that everybody can really say. So I think for me, even, I've lost sight of that throughout the years, always wanting to achieve more and go higher. You kind of take, the results you've had and the success you've had, and you somehow warp it in your mind that it hasn't really been as successful as it has. but I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to kind of just be more comfortable with myself, rather than, striving for more, which I am obviously each day. It's not so much of like I need to do this. It's like, this is what I'm gonna do, and this is all I can do. So where I think when I was in my younger 20s and everything, in 23, 24, especially when I kind of broke top 100 and started to touch some more ATP events and stuff like that, it was like, the striving for more became more of like a nervous, like, oh my God, I have to do this. Every tournament I play, I need to show up, and you do, but you also can't have that on your shoulder every time you got to play. And I think that is also a regret of mine, is kind of almost wanting it too much. And I think, that is probably where I've had the biggest regret looking back on my career. So I think the injury kind of, everybody says sometimes injuries are blessing in disguise, which maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, but I think it kind of just helped me know now who I am as a player and a person, and just kind of be more comfortable with everything that's going on.
That's great, and thanks for providing that insight. I will say, for someone from the outside, and I feel like I understand the levels of professional tennis. A lot of times, you're always, whoever you're circled around, you're always trying to get better, and you always see someone who's better and better and better than you are, and you're trying to strive. I can say that what you've experienced, 99.99999% of the world will never get to experience and never be at that
Yeah.
level in whatever they do. And like you said, it's unfortunate tennis is just kind of like that as far as prize money, and it's top heavy and all that stuff. But the level you're at is absolutely insane. And the people who would watch people with rankings way lower than you, Bjorn, would be amazed at how good someone 300 in the world is, 400 in the world is, 500 in the world is. So super, super cool. And thank you for sharing that. If you can, and I know it's different, but because we're just off of Delray right now, if you can give an example of, let's say, a practice day in Delray, and then you can go in and give it a match day. Again, tennis is challenging, and you don't know until the night before when your matches
Yeah.
are usually. So if you can kind of walk us through a practice day during the tournament and match day during the tournament, what's a day in the life of Bjorn Fratangelo?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, this year was obviously a lot different with the rules and the COVID restrictions and everything. So we were not allowed to leave the hotel, or the site, which I had my own car, but I was able to drive to the site and back to the hotel. So that was interesting. But yeah, so I would, wake up and have breakfast there at the hotel, and then go on site. And normally I would like to have, one practice with my coach, and then one practice with somebody else, just to kind of play points, and see the guy's ball, and then also do specific things that are more tailor made for me. If I can get court time that's maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours, I like to go straight, especially just, with the foot and everything now. Everything's fine, but it's nice to not have to like re-warm up and cool down and then have to start again. But yeah, so that's what I would do. In this case, though, since I have played so few matches and I haven't seen these guys in a long time, I really wanted to play a lot of points and a lot of sets. So that's what I tried to do. I tried to play, I tried to get hits with Tommy Paul, who's working with my old coach Brad Stein. I hit with Hubie Hercox, who won the event, obviously. So I tried to get hits with the good guys there, and that's what I did. That's kind of it. I would practice, if I would go twice, 1 hour, try to do some gym stuff in between, which usually they let us use a gym off site. But this year, with everything, there wasn't that much that we could do. So I would do the best I could with the equipment they had, and then eat lunch, kind of hang out, because I didn't want to just go sit in my room, all day long. And then, do the physio work when I would get back with the guys from the ATP. They had one physio on site, one physio at the hotel. And then, get on Uber Eats or Postmates for dinner. And that's about it.
Got it. And then match day, I mean, depending if you're first on or if you're later on, you obviously won't go as hard, just warm up and practice, but you still want to maybe hit with your coach or another player typically.
Yeah, either or really. My coach now, Eric Nunez, was a good player in himself. He was top 200 and hits a great ball now. So him and I practice together a lot, just with us. So yeah, that's kind of what I do. If there is somebody that plays at the same time, yeah, I'll hit with the other guy. Which in the case the day I played Francis, I actually warmed up with Manarino, which is not the same game style as TFO, but it's fine. It's just a hit. So I would hit 30 minutes, 35 minutes, go inside, eat, prepare my drinks, prepare everything I need to do, then go take a shower, change, and then kind of just chill out till the match gets called, and then maybe 5-10 minutes before the match start kind of getting loose and get the blood flowing again.
Got it. For the rest of 2021, and I know, by the time we're actually recording this, the time we release it, there could be a bazillion changes because it seems like things change every day. As far as your goals, staying injury free is obviously number one, but is it hard for you to kind of have specific goals when you don't even know which tournaments are occurring throughout the year?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult, because I had all that bulk of time. I really healed up. My foot was 100% maybe by April or May of 2020. So I had a lot of time to practice, and obviously I used that time to practice because I didn't do it before. So training all of those months leading into the two challengers that I played in Europe, which I was supposed to stay there longer, but there was just scheduling mishaps and everything. I ended up coming home a little bit early, and then training more until Cary and Orlando, which those tournaments didn't go that well. And then having the whole off season. By the end of the off season, I was just like beating my head against the wall, like, oh my God, I cannot keep doing this every single day. Like movement drills, cross court, down line, like it's so monotonous. And then you just do it, you get to it. But I love the fitness aspect of tennis, and I love being in the gym. I love running. I love doing all that stuff. So, there were some weeks where that was taking more of my time because the court, I needed a break.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
it was nice when Delray came on the schedule the first week, because obviously knowing that my ranking wasn't going to be high enough to get into Aussie qualies, I had that, and then obviously not having to play qualies either was nice to get just straight into the main draw. And then for the rest of the year, I don't know. There's some challengers that I entered in Europe, but it doesn't seem like nothing's easy right now.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to travel. It's really hard to, do anything. I mean, the ATP has to jump through a million hoops to get us to go anywhere. In my opinion, they need to do something like the other sports did with a bubble structure and just have X amount of events in one area and do it that way. Because I think just trying to keep it as normal as possible for what we do and how our sport works, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, until this vaccine really keeps getting rolled out.
Yeah, until that's until everybody's comfortable with that situation and everybody opens up their borders, it's gonna be like this for a while.
Yeah,
But as far as
no,
goals, I mean, just do the best I can with what's given, and every tournament that I play, I mean, it's got to be, you have to make the most of it because you don't really have the luxury of week after week.
yeah, well, I think it's good in listening to you, even though it got monotonous on the court every single day doing the same thing over and over again. You like staying in great fitness shape, so you had no issues being motivated, staying in shape, even with the movement exercises and off the court. So it's not like you're going to be sitting on the couch never
Oh,
doing
no, that's impossible for me.
So, so that's great. Hey, I appreciate you spending time doing this. Look, we're going to get through this together. Just take it week by week, stay in shape, which again, you have no problem doing. I wish you the best of luck moving forward. Hopefully we'll get back to normalcy sooner rather than later. I also hope you have a very long career. And even if whenever that day is done, I think everybody will look forward to seeing you and Madison doing a special kind of Food Network show or something like that, because both of you have a career in that when all is said and done on the tennis court.
Yeah, we definitely eat well, that's for sure. I mean, it's a huge passion of mine. I'm obviously my last name is Italian, and my dad was born there. My mom is Italian also. So I grew up around food, and I grew up with myself sitting at the counter watching both of my parents just in the kitchen all the time. My grandma, the same. My dad's mom was the same, and basically all of us, my cousins included, there's a lot of guys in my family, so a lot of boys, and we all know how to cook. And I think that just kind of gone or went from all of us just kind of watching our family do it for years and years. So when I started living on my own, it was just kind of, well, I have to eat, so this is what I do. And then through lockdown and everything, it was just like, all right, how much can I expand? And because my meals are good, but normally they're pretty basic. But I was like, okay, I have all this time, like let's experiment and let's try to improve something else. So yeah, it kind of went from there. And then I don't like to share as much. Obviously, I don't have the same following that Maddie does. But she'll post everything that we both make, and a lot of people love it. So yeah, it's good that it's gotten such a audience.
Yeah, I was gonna say for those that don't follow either you or Madison, just check out their Instagram because they cook some unbelievable meals. So anytime you want to invite me over, I'm in. I'll even pay. I'll even pay. So
Sounds
um,
like a plan.
no, thanks so much, Bjorn. Appreciate you taking the time. And again, I know it's so much helter skelter going on right now, but best of luck moving forward. I wish you much success.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Talk to you soon.